He is the head wizard of the cult, a tall man with his head shaped like a skull. His eyes were like arrows. When you look into his eyes, it was as if his eyes were penetrating into your soul. Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome you to another confession here on K Spencer TV. This is a confession sent in here by a sister, and here it goes. My name is Bahati. I am a 39-year-old woman from Cape Town in South Africa. I am very rich. I have to sleep with a young male virgin by the end of this month or I will go mad. I had not always been rich. In fact, I was from a poor home and my family could not afford to send me to school, so they sent me to learn a skill, which was hair making, in order to help myself. That was how I became a hairstylist and worked in a salon. But see, I had more ambitions of becoming someone great, a rich woman in the society. My plan was to either get married to a rich man or build a big business by owning chains of big salons all over South Africa. I was working hard to save money, but the money I was saving was too small to start anything. I knew I needed to connect to the right person who can help me make my dream come true. Opportunity came knocking one day. One sunny afternoon, a Saturday to be exact, she came into our salon. She had a certain powerful aura. As she walked in gracefully, we called her Madame Zenelli. Her gold jewelry and high fashion screamed wealth and power. She had such a lovely clear skin, and you could tell her body lotion had to be very expensive. My madam rushed to welcome her in. She came in the company of a very handsome young man. She always come with different guys to the salon, but one thing about the guys is that they are always very young. You will be shocked by what she uses this young man for later in the story. I looked at her and I looked at myself. Such a big difference. At this point, if I had magical powers, I would have exchanged her life for mine. She was everything I wanted to be, except life had not been good to me. I was just a hairstylist, but I knew one day I would find a way to get there. Suddenly, an idea came into my mind. I knew what I was going to do. I was going to make it my main goal to befriend her and get her to tell me how she became rich. That was how little by little I befriended Madame Zenelli, and fortunately she liked me too. I started running errands for her, like going to her house to wash her clothes and clean her house. She took me like a sister. She gives me huge sum of money to take to the bank and sometimes leaves huge cash lying around the house. So many times I was tempted to steal, but determination to be rich would not let me do so, because I knew all the money I saw lying about her house was nothing compared to what I will have if she showed me the source of her wealth. I started telling her how I wanted to be like her, to show me how she became rich. She will look at me and laugh and say, to become like her is not easy. It takes a lot of sacrifice. I said I was willing to do anything. I never knew all those errands she was sending me were tests to know my character. The money she left lying around the house was just a test to see if I could be trusted. But before we go on, please, if you have not subscribed, do subscribe and click on the notification bell. Support this channel. Now back to the story. Madame Zenelli had a lot of equally rich lady friends. I have followed her to parties, and if you see the kind of money these women spend recklessly, and they love young guys a lot too. They always bring these boys around them and lavish money on them. They like dressing a matching outfit, but I noticed that they like the color red so much. They even have a particular handshake that all of them do whenever they come together. On a very quiet night during full moon, I was at her house. She said I should follow her to somewhere. When we got to the place, it was a private compound with large gates. The house itself was the most beautiful mansion I have ever seen. Different cars were parked and some cars were just arriving. These cars were really expensive. You could see that whoever these people are coming to this place, they had a lot of money and power. Different women coming down from different cars, all of them were putting on red marks to cover their face, and they all had red clothes. Madame Zenelli warned me not to get out of the car, that she was going in for the meeting and will soon be back. She brought out her own marks, put it on and went into the house. I was asleep when she came back some hours later. I never knew she was purposely exposing me to her satanic society gradually. When we got home, I asked her about that place. What was going on in there and why was everybody wearing masks? She said that place is the source of our wealth. Immediately, I told her I wanted to join her. She said no problem, that next month she will take me there, but I should tell no one about it. But she warned, once I go in there is no going back. On the last Friday of the next month, I was at the salon when I got a call from her that tonight is a night that everything would change in my life. That night, I made my way to her house by 8 p.m. not knowing what to expect. We got into the car and we drove to another house. This one was different from the first one we went to. She gave me something to drink in the car and then I passed out. I awoke to find myself with a group of women and a man. He is the head wizard of the cult, a tall man with his head shaped like a skull. His eyes were like arrows. When you look into his eyes, it was as if his eyes were penetrating into your soul. He called me forward. He said he was going to give me power to get rich, but first he has to sleep with me. That is how the power will be activated in me. He commanded me to take off my clothes. His voice brought shivers down my back. His voice sounded like thunder. I could not move, but strangely, I was aware of myself floating towards him like I was carried by invisible forces. He started floating, rising into the air. Suddenly, I was lifted into the air too by invisible powers. We met up in the air and he had sex with me in the presence of everyone there. When he was done, he brought out a long dagger and he marked my forehead. He applied some black powder into the small cuts. I immediately started to shake. I fell to the floor, started crawling around like a snake on the floor, convulsing like I had epilepsy. Inside of me was burning hot, as if my intestines were on fire. My head was vibrating as if it was expanding, almost ready to explode, when all of a sudden, everything stopped. I saw myself in the spirit world. I saw myself face to face with a woman. She was sitting on a throne made of gold. Her body too was gold in color. She had 3 heads. One of the heads was like that of a python snake, and the other head was like that of an eagle, and the third head a very beautiful woman. She said she was the god of money in charge of Africa. She said she will bless me with so much wealth if only I will serve her and bring her souls. She told me to kneel down before her and kiss her ring. Immediately I did that. I woke up back in the physical realm. The head wizard gave me a small black pot with a red cover. He told me I was to sleep with a young male virgin every month. Look for a way to clean the man's sperm or semen with the cloth or tissue and place this cloth into the pot to renew its power every month. Immediately after this initiation, the next week, different strange numbers started calling me, telling me they were told to deposit money into my account. In just a day, I got millions. I told Madam Zenelli about this. She said the money was a gift from the Queen Mother to start my business. I used the money to establish a big salon that attracted a lot of customers in a very short time. I expanded and I opened more salons. People around me were talking. They could not believe how this poor girl suddenly transformed into a woman of wealth in such a little time. I have destroyed a lot of young men's life. Many of the young boys will never be successful or rich in life. Their destinies have been stolen. They don't even know. Some unlucky ones go mad. How I get these young men is that I lavish them with money and gifts. Some I meet them online and I invite them, and some I meet in the club. I just buy them drinks, dance with them, lavish them with attention, take them home after the night and sleep with them. I always put off the light so they don't see as I wipe off their semen with my magical towel. In the morning, I give them money. I put them in a cab and I send them away. They have unknowingly sold their birthright for a few minutes of pleasure. But recently, I wake up sometimes in the night from nightmares. I see the boys have ruined their life, the ones who go mad. I feel like my payment for all this life I have spoiled is coming soon. There is this dark feeling that follows me throughout the day, like something terrible is about to happen to me.